What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Knowles and Dogs podcast. I'm Hunter,
I'm Dylan.
and we are getting you guys ready for the national championship game, which is being played as of this podcast tomorrow night. This is our preview show, where we're going to give our takes on how the game might go and picks and all that fun stuff. So stick around, hit that subscribe button while you're at it.
Yep.
Like the video, view it if you like. We would appreciate a couple more views here and there, but
Hey, just a couple more, all right? We're
again, we're not
just
begging.
appreciate it. Yeah.
We don't beg.
Mhm.
Always have this tap. But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of college football, you know somebody fans of college football, tell them about us.
Mhm.
We would really appreciate it. The more fans we have, the more content we can put out.
Exactly.
So yeah, but aside from that, we're gonna just pretty much it's gonna be a quicker show, nothing too crazy, but we'll briefly talk about the playoff or semifinals because we didn't really get a chance to talk about that
Yeah.
because we're a little late, just some busy scheduling conflict, but we're here now,
Exactly,
and then.
yeah.
But then we'll just kind of do a deep dive into the game, the national title game tomorrow. So, with all that being said, we will hop right in. We'll start with the Fiesta Bowl. That was the 4 o'clock game, game one of the semis, and just first and foremost, I mean, finally we got a good year for semifinal games. Now we talked about. Yeah, we talked about, we thought this game would be a closer game out of the two. And we were pretty accurate on that.
Yeah.
How'd you see the game?
So I was at a New Year's party watching the game with a good amount of people. Primarily, it was Florida fans I was with. Similar situation to you. But I was with one other Knoll fan, and we were both like, I just want to see a good game, and that game was just fun to watch. At the beginning, I don't know how you were feeling, but it really felt like there for a minute that TCU was running away with the game. But Michigan was able to clean up some mistakes and get back into it late. But
yeah,
I think that was the turning point. Was self-inflicted mistakes by Michigan early.
Yeah, if I had to sum up the game for both teams, for Michigan it was just self-inflicted wounds all over the place. I know you can blame the refs for some questionable calls here and there. But the refs didn't decide that game.
No.
Not scoring any points from inside the 5-yard line 2 trips in a row cost you the game.
Yeah.
2 pick sixes cost you the game. That's what's going to hurt you. For TCU, it was just taking advantage of those opportunities and pretty much not bending and not breaking.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they've done all year, especially in the Big 12. I mean, you bend and you don't break, but they did that to a T. I mean, yeah, I was kind of thinking that big lead. I was like, because I had TCU in the points, so I was just like, all right, here we go, we're rolling. But I was like, back of my head, I'm thinking Michigan's not gonna go down without a fight here, because if they can just calm it down a little bit, they could possibly get things rolling, and they kind of started doing that. But trying to think, but yeah, the first play of the game, the Edwards run, and then all of a sudden. They just started getting cute down at the goal line, and I'm like, what are we... I mean, as a TCU supporter, I was like, here we go. But I'm just like, as a fan, I'm like, just as a college football observer, I'm like, what are they doing? I mean, that Ann Arbor special? I don't know. They just killed him.
It really did feel like... So, I 100% believe if Michigan didn't turn the ball over early in that first quarter, go down, 21-7 at one point?
Yeah.
If they don't go down 21-7, I think...
21-6. Because they only hit 2 field goals.
You're right. If they don't go down 21-6 in that first quarter, I think there's a very likely scenario they could have won this football game. It's like they got into their own head early, and then they just could not claw back out of that hole.
They could have easily clawed back in this game. I mean, or they pretty much did, but
they did, yeah.
Their inability to make it stops hurt them. I mean, because even I mean, again, it's just the self-destruction part because, like, I mean, Max Duggan threw 2 picks.
Yeah.
One of them set him up at that. Now the questionable ref play at the end of the, I think it was towards the end of the half, when so he caught the ball, he intercepted it, but
Yeah.
the ref he caught it at about, I forget where, but the ref moved it back like 3 yards. For some reason, they spot the ball like back 3 yards. For some reason, I don't know. And then the next play, he caught it. His butt was in the end zone, but he didn't have. I guess he didn't have possession of the ball.
Yeah. That was.
So-
I don't know about how you felt. That was a touchdown.
I didn't think it was a touchdown because I didn't think he was down. So in the NFL, so it's different because in college, in the NFL, you're down if no matter if you're not touched, if you're any part of your body's down, you're down. NFL now in that NFL, he could have easily just caught it and rolled like barrel rolled in. It would have not mattered. Where he caught it at the 1.
Yeah.
As the ball was not across the goal line. His back was up against the goal line, kind of creeping in, but the football wasn't. So, I mean, call it how you will. But then the next play, you can't fumble the ball.
No, that's the thing that killed them was that fumble.
Again, that fumble killed him. And then, I mean, just late in the game, there was the big third down touchdown to Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnston had pretty much the game breaker on that 3rd and 9. I mean, but that was, just self-destruction.
That third quarter, that touchdown by TCU immediately following like a 6-minute Michigan drive. Like they scored in 3 plays. Do you remember? Yeah, like it was like
that final 5 minutes was just. I think it was the most scored quarter of any college football playoff game.
Yep, by like a good margin there too. I think the closest one was they were saying was the Florida or not the Georgia Oklahoma game. And behind that was LSU Oklahoma first quarter, but that's just LSU. Yeah, LSU put up 40 in 1 quarter.
And then I was looking at totals. I think LSU hit. What was the final score to that game? I don't even remember. But
that LSU one, they put like 60 something on Oklahoma.
I thought was it 60? I was thinking for some reason they put 70 on them.
I'll double check you real quick. But
I just know Burrow had 7 touchdowns in the first half. So
63 to 28. Yes, I mean
he had was it 7 tuts in the first half?
Yes, he did. Yeah,
because Justin Jefferson had 4.
Justin Jefferson had 4. Jamar Chase did not have a touchdown in that game.
I mean, they probably didn't need him.
Terrence Marshall Jr. had 2.
What a loaded cast.
Yeah, that was the Justin Jefferson game, dude. He had 227 yards, 4 touchdowns, 14 receptions. They just didn't cover him at all.
That was probably the worst matchup, just schematically and on paper wise, probably of all time. One of them up there. Yeah. I mean, that Oklahoma Lincoln Riley defense against that offense. I mean, can you imagine how many points they would have put up against USC's defense this year? They might have put 80 on it.
Actually, the thing is, I actually think this USC defense, surprisingly, I think it was better than that terrible Oklahoma defense that year.
Oh, God.
That Oklahoma defense was bad that year.
I did watch the Tulane
game. I watched the Tulane game.
Yeah.
Only reason I would disagree is that at least this USC defense could turn the ball over at times. Because that Oklahoma defense, they gave up
that was after giving up like 40 points.
Yeah, but they gave up 40 points like every game. I think their defense averaged giving up 40.
You can't give up 15 points in the final 3 minutes of a game like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong,
but hey, Tulane and the points. We're just here making money. Anyway, so I think do we have any final thoughts pretty much on that Fiesta Bowl? Yeah, self-destruction on Michigan, TCU, taking advantage of those opportunities. But credit TCU. Listen, they played really well in that game. Aside from the 2 picks, nothing else. Defense stood up, played super well, and we're going to see how it translates into the national title game.
Yep.
200-1 odds to make the playoff. Probably double or triple that to make it to the national title, let alone win it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
congrats to those bettors.
Well, I don't know how many of them are actually taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the nightcap game, which was Georgia and Ohio State, which was the anticipated game out of the two, most anticipated one. We thought that Georgia was going to cover and roll.
Yeah.
We did. Early, I don't know how you felt. To me,
Yeah.
it was just, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, here we go. This is SEC title game again. This is Jamison Williams. He's going to kill me. And Bryce Young. Like, they weren't getting pressure, and they weren't getting home. And guess what? They were getting eaten alive. Like, just surgically ripping us apart. And that's what happened early. Luckily, we kind of weathered that storm. I mean, this was, I don't know, I'll let you talk here first, but I just, it was like, the defense played crap, but also did enough to keep us in the game, where our offense played like crap, but did enough again to keep us in the game and respond.
So, well, I'll go in as a neutral observer, because obviously you coming from the Georgia side, you do have a little bit of an innate bias here. I will say, for that first quarter, it really did feel like Ohio State was throwing everything they possibly had against Georgia, and Georgia for a moment there did not have any answer for it. It was like they were throwing up disguise like defenses that Stetson Bennett was struggling to read at first. He wasn't able to get through his progressions, and they were taking too long. He was getting sacked. He had an interception on a ball where he just couldn't. He did not get enough on it. And C.J. Stroud looked like a top 10 pick. Like he looked
100%.
He looked how Ohio State fans tried to make you believe he was playing.
Yeah.
That's the first time he's ever played like that.
Yeah. So yeah, like that first quarter, honestly, I mean, the first drive, you couldn't have asked it better for the defense, got the sack. Yeah. But then the offense goes out, they get down the field, and then all of a sudden they get cute, and they try to do some read option. If they just hand the ball off, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Which led to a missed field goal. And then Ohio State just immediately just pounced on it and just scored a touchdown. And then I think we responded. Then they scored next two.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, shit, here we go.
It was to me it was shocking, especially since for a moment there, George, you guys had no answer from Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, he was everything thrown in his way. He had it. Like, it was more a sense of let's hope he drops it, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not covering this guy. So I do think I didn't think it was targeting personally in the end zone.
I didn't either.
He led with his shoulder into his other shoulder. That's not targeting. He wasn't a defenseless receiver. No. If anything, it was illegal touching because Harrison definitely stepped out before the catch. So
yeah, they probably wouldn't have called it.
No, because he didn't complete the pass, and normally on that they don't really call illegal touching for the most part. But
yeah,
they normally just call it third down or fourth down in that situation. But I was very shocked, especially to see C.J. Stroud use his legs.
Oh yeah, where was that all year? We were just waiting.
Yeah, they were waiting for this game. They were waiting for Georgia to not see it. Him run.
Kudos to them then.
Yeah. You know, on one hand, I do have to tip my cap to the Ohio State staff for really putting a good game plan, because credit to them, they did literally everything they could to beat Georgia. Absolutely everything. The only thing they missed was really poor play, like really poor decisions with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like, they should have gone for extra yards there. They got way too cute and tried to kick a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, I mean, just as an overview, Kirby Smart, I would say for about 58, 59 minutes or so, got out-coached.
Yeah.
Just granted, luckily, not going to say luckily, but, it took an injury to change up the defensively, the schematics.
Yeah.
Just the defense credit. I guess you could say also, we bent pretty much a lot, but we didn't break. There's something about, but also credit to Georgia. Credit to Georgia's offense.
Yeah, credit to Georgia, seriously. They played
because
their butts off to get back in it when they looked bad.
that's just that. I mean, that's a championship pedigree right there. I
Mhm.
mean, I think it's one. I mean, probably what, like 3 times we were down double digits,
Mhm.
and you were able to just keep your head down, keep going, get a stop here or there, catch, and then just get back in the game. I mean, that's what they did the first time, the 21-7. I mean, it come back out. We out go next 17 unanswered, and then we gave up that crappy touchdown at the end of the half.
Yeah.
And that led to the pick in the early part of the third, which that was just because he was under pressure, and then just didn't get enough air on it. Because by the way,
Yeah.
if he gets an air on that thing and gets it out, I mean that's a touchdown because McIntosh
Yeah.
is no alone.
Yeah, the safety dropped there too.
Steel Chambers intercepted it, the linebacker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean fourth quarter. That fourth quarter, I mean uh, after I mean Stetson Bennett in the fourth quarter is just insane. He did it last year in the national title game. Did it this year. I mean, he just played subpar. He played like crap in that third quarter, but he did. And I will say, like, two final things. That timeout called on the fake punt saved the game.
Yeah.
Saved the game. And I definitely thought we left way too much time when we scored that touchdown.
I thought so too.
Way too much time. I was like, here
Yeah.
we go. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose. He's gonna make it. We're gonna lose. Lucas. And thank God he just completely shanked that. I mean, that's like
That's in the
Minnesota
all-time
Vikings.
misses. Yeah.
that's like that Minnesota Vikings miss from a couple years ago. I mean, holy crap, you can't miss that. But you also on Ryan Day's part, you can't let the game down to a college kid and a
50-yard
50-year-old.
field goal, and the dude has not been good from like they put his number up. He was like 0 for 7 at like more than 45 yards. It was like
I don't know. No,
what was the number on that?
I think it might have maybe been from 50 plus then because he
Yeah,
had hit one from 49 in the game earlier in that game. But I won't say karma because last year Rose Bowl end of the game, he was making some like gestures to the Utah players, like waving and like just doing all that fun stuff to like some
Yeah.
players that were like on the ground after he kicked like a chip shot to win it. Not gonna say karma always comes back around, but
yeah.
But kudos to C.J. Stroud. He earned himself some money. I still don't think he's going to be. I'm interested to see how he's going to do in the NFL. We'll see. But those were my takes. Dogs move on. Dogs stand. Champs have a chance to repeat, and that will lead us into our preview now. Unless you had any final more thoughts here.
Nothing more to add other than didn't have the greatest season. But then again, according to this, Ohio State's kicking history ain't that great because he had 20 field goals and he's tied for 4th most. That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
he's a transfer.
Yeah, he's a transfer. He went to North Carolina.
Oh, a quick stat here.
Mhm.
So, all the people out there hating on Keely Ringo. By the way, Keely Ringo will be a safety in the NFL. He's built like a safety. So
Yeah.
the reason we put him at cornerback, don't tell me, I don't know. Anyway, C.J. Stroud against when targeting Keely Ringo, he's 6 for 13 for 69 yards and a touchdown. Targeting anyone else, 17 of 18, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, and that touchdown probably given up by Ringo, I think, was on like a play that Stroud just like moved out of the way, out of the pressure, and told Harrison to go one way, and then he just caught him. I mean, it's like, what do you? I mean, you're gonna get beat there anyway. So, the Keely Ringo hate, I trust me, I get on him as much as anybody. I'm bad. He has his fair share of moments, but like stats right there they don't back it up. They back it up. I mean, he's still going to be a good back half first round, early second round pick. So we'll see though. All right, let's move on to the main event. We're finally here, national title game. God, the season's gone by too fast, but we're finally here. Georgia, TCU. It's in Inglewood, California, SoFi Stadium, if you want to get technical.
Beautiful place.
I heard the area around it's kind of bad. Stadium is
It's
kind of cool.
Well, I've been there, not to the stadium, but it's if you didn't know, the stadium is right next to the Los Angeles International Airport, LAX. So when you get off a flight there, you actually are right next to it.
Oh, that's cool.
There's like a giant fence around the area. So,
That's what I've heard. Yep. Nice.
there's like Philip Rivers too. That's actually what the rivers
Oh,
are
yeah.
named. The rivers are named Philip
Nice.
Rivers.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, so right now the line, we'll just say the line's 13.5 as of this moment. I just checked a little bit ago. Over-unders shot up to 64.
Ooh, that's high.
Up to 64. It was at 63 for a little bit, then went down to 62. It's back up. Now it's up to 64. And the line just went back up a point. It was at 12.5 for a little while. So just under the 2 touchdown favorites. That's a lot of points. Saw a stat. Georgia's 8-6 with the under. TCU's 8-6 with the over. So we'll kind of break it down here, I guess, or just kind of give you your main thoughts. We'll save your picks for at the end, but
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I think I honestly, you could break down this game a little bit, but I think the game's going to come down to Georgia's. I mean, let's just talk about it, sir. Georgia's. How do you anticipate like Georgia's defense versus TCU's offense? How do you think it's going to go?
Before the Michigan game, I would have told you I don't think TCU's offense could really stack up against Georgia's defense. But after the way they were really able to just expose Michigan's glaring problems in their secondary and their ability to stop big plays, I think they'll be able to score. I think this could end up being a shootout if they can keep some of the momentum they had from last week against Michigan. Because the way they were able to just score quick, take long drives, run the ball, pass the ball, they could do anything they wanted on defense or on offense. And Max Duggan he knows how to command that offense. Like he is a legit. He should be an NFL prospect. I don't know how high he's looking at right now on that side of it, but he legitimately looks extremely good in that offense.
I think he could be probably a day 2 guy.
Yeah, I think you're a third round kind of guy.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, I think, the explosive plays are definitely something to keep an eye on. I think if Georgia's able to get pressure, so like remember, I mean they did sack C.J. Stroud about 5 times, I think,
Yeah.
4 or 5 times, and there was a couple plays where Stroud backed up and moved around and had to just throw it away. So we were still getting home. Jalen Carter was getting tackled every play, so he wasn't making a difference because he was getting held and wasn't getting called. That's just watch the tape. Don't call me a fan. Biased.
But
I mean, just
that is
he was
just
getting
how the
tripped.
playoffs normally are, though. You don't see as many like holding or
True. I mean,
they try
Anyway.
to stay away from the ticky tacky stuff, though.
well, yeah. I mean, when you're getting tackled, though, I mean, you got to call that. Anyway, yeah. So now what worries me more, see, Stroud was able to use like Max Duggan is a way better runner. So if he's able to get going on the run game, that would be big. I know Keandre Miller, their top running back, he's dealing with a knee injury, I think. He injured back in the Fiesta Bowl. He says he's going to be getting to play. How effective he'll be, I don't know. So we're going to see how now their backup, I forget his name, but he's just as effective. But I think if we're able to, now this game, aside just from a talent stamp, I think this game really more reflects the Tennessee game. I think personally. Now I kind of said something like that, similar to the Ohio State game, but the Ohio State, they're just as elite.
Yeah.
Um,
Like talent
their
to talent,
players-
I think they line up closest to like you guys in Bama. Those are the
TCU
three probably talented teams in the country.
Tennessee, TCU, kind of similar, just the way they throw the ball more than they run.
Yeah.
I believe, and they love their explosive plays downfield.
Yeah.
They're taking their downfield shots. Like as much as they throw, they're gonna hit their plays. It's tackling you got to limit the yards after catch because that's what Quentin Johnston thrives in. He just will eat you up after the catch. If you can limit the explosive plays, get pressure, and really just keep them under control as far as like yards after the catch, they should be okay. Georgia's a pretty good team at catching after the usually limiting like yak yards or just yards after the catch. So I think they'll do all right there, but I think it's going to be like Jalen Carter's got to step up. He didn't really do much at all. He had like one tackle and that was it. I believe Chaz Chambliss is going to be okay. I mean, we got some young guys on that D line, that DN spot. They're going to have to step up. Michael Williams, Smile Munden, trying to think, Marvin Jones, Jalen Walker's. They're going to have to step up.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game. I do think TCU is going to be able to put some points up because Georgia secondary is not very good at this point. I can kind of say that.
Yeah.
Because I mean they play a bunch of man to man. So if you're going to get beat, you're going to get beat.
They're really talented. They're just like
it worries me a little bit if Georgia's if you're looking at TCU's perspective, like if you're not able to get if you're not able to get turnovers on defensively.
Sorry, I just got NFL news. Sorry, that's my face.
What was it?
Lovie Smith just got fired.
Oh, well. Well, he was the Texans, right?
He just won. They won today. He got fired after they won.
Well, that's because he blew them a first overall pick. Yeah. So pretty much if they're gonna, they just got to get stops. Mm-hmm. But I do think that I can't see TCU taking over Georgia's defense. I just can't see it. Michigan had a couple injuries in the back half, which hurt them. A couple of their secondary guys were out, so that hurt them. But yeah, I don't know. Any more thoughts about it?
I mean, if you give TCU a week to game plan right now, right? I think they can at least start out as quick as they did against Michigan, especially since the Georgia I've seen at times can get off very slow. I don't know if that's just Kirby's style. He likes to let the game sink in for his players first.
Maybe.
But every time I watch Georgia in bigger games, they like to almost let the other team get ahead quick. They did it against Alabama. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say is that they sometimes I think they like the energy maybe a little bit too high at first. Mm-hmm. They'll miss some tackles to start the first drive or two. They'll have some miscues on offense where they can't score a touchdown. They settle for a field goal. I think that routinely happens with Georgia teams under Kirby Smart just the past 6-7 years now, right? Where they start off slow. So I think if TCU ends up doing that, they catch Georgia early, they get up like they did against Michigan, and this turns into a shootout, I think TCU has a great chance to win this game. I legitimately think TCU's offense is probably it is better than Georgia's offense. Just from a statistical standpoint, I do think Max Duggan is a better quarterback than Stetson Bennett. Not as clutch, right? Not as good in the fourth. Well, I mean, not as good in the fourth quarter when it comes to making the plays you need to. But I think these teams match up a lot closer than they really should if you look at the talent.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you can't really, look at just paper.
Yeah.
You can't be looking at just this is why they play the games on the field.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think I keep thinking it's going to be a close game. Mm-hmm. But then I'm just thinking now, I just thought of this in my head, as far as, I'll go back to that, but as far as, Kirby Smart, they start slow. I don't know if it's a thing, they just kind of, feel things out, see where we are in the game, and then we get going. But, honestly, they really didn't have a super slow start against Ohio State, just a couple miscues. They had the missed field goal, which hurt them. which then turned around and then just kind of they were there. It was like you missed opportunities. But as far as like this game and how these two teams stack up, I'm just thinking about now, like that Kansas State Alabama game,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no dropout. There was no opt outs
Nope.
pretty much on both sides.
Yeah.
And it's a Kansas State team that beat TCU once and should have beat them twice.
Yeah.
And it's a Bama team that's not as good as we've seen in past years, but still is pretty good.
Mhm.
It's like, is this how it is? It's a wonder if this is how this game's going to be. Because hear me out. So that you weather the storm, you got to weather the storm. That's the biggest thing. And Bama did it
Yeah.
against Kansas State. They were down 10-0 in a blink of an eye, and was like, what the heck? Are they just going to fold up here?
Yeah.
That's for Georgia, and it's like an underdog thing. But like Georgia's got to weather the storm because, like you said, they're going to come out firing. They're pretty much, if you're pretty much a 2-touchdown underdog, you got nothing else to lose. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not even supposed to be here at this point. Like, just you got nothing to lose. Like, you know they're going to coming out with all the stuff. They're not going to leave anything left. Like,
Yeah.
they got to be ready. Georgia's defense has got to be ready for anything. Trick plays, explosive, just deep shots. Like, whatever it's got to take, they're going to try to do to try to set the tone early and try to get out in front. But I do think that Georgia's defense is good enough to where they can create pressure and get turnovers. They didn't get
Yeah.
turnovers last game, but I think they're able to. They're good enough to get some if they can get like one or two turnovers. This is not Michigan. They're like you're playing the big boys now. Like we're gonna see. I mean, to be fair, I mean like Michigan, like Harbaugh's lost his last. Harbaugh hasn't won a bowl game. He's won one bowl game
Yeah.
since he's been at Michigan. Like he doesn't. For some reason, he's not good in bowl games. Like this isn't Michigan. Like you're not playing Kansas State. Like this is
Yeah.
you're playing. This is for real now. Like welcome to the show. Like, but we'll see. That's why That's why you play the games.
Yeah.
I think. Well, unless you want to go back to it, maybe down the road, if you remember anything, we'll move on here to the other side of the field now, like Georgia offense, TCU defense.
No, I don't really have anything else to add. I mean, I think we'll see how it plays out on field, but
Mhm.
I think the matchup is closer than it would be at first you think.
Yeah, listen, I'm not doubting them because that's a big spread,
Yeah.
and at TCU does worry me because they have been doubted. They've hit adversity all year, and they just keep coming back.
Yeah.
Like they don't. So, but again, we'll see how that offense fares. But as far as the other side of the ball, because there's two offenses going, Georgia's offense, TCU's defense. How do you think this stacks up? Like, what's going on? What do we think here?
My question with this is going to be is how, because I think Stetson Bennett is in a different league than JJ McCarthy, obviously, right? So it's very hard to judge what their defense did last week with turning the ball over, creating problems with their offense. So my question comes down to if TCU can force turnovers or just turnover worthy plays on Georgia, I think that's the conversation here. Because if they can do anywhere similar to what they did to McCarthy in that first half, or just in the game in general, you know what I mean? Just bully him around, force some turnovers, stop him from getting huge plays on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is because TCU runs like a 3-3-5D.
Yeah.
It's going to be how do they attack that? Because you would think in theory, let's just run the ball. You got 3 down linemen.
Yeah.
Our guys are bigger. You just rely on the run. But I think that they should probably consider more. Obviously, you want to run the ball, but I think if they just decide to go conservative approach, I think they're not going to succeed very well. I think you got to come out firing, set the tone early. You got to get your weapons involved, get Bennett rolling early. If they can go down the field and just kind of find some just get him going,
Yeah.
score a touchdown early, you can set the tone. to where like, yeah, like you're getting out, you get your points, and then you can start
Yeah.
running the ball, like mixing it in.
Yeah. That's why I think my question is going to be: is TCU going to respect Michigan's wide receivers? You know what I mean? I'm not saying
Yeah.
they're not great athletes or not, but at times this year, Michigan has almost completely avoid throwing to receivers and choosing just to run the ball, throw it to the tight end, run the ball, throw it to the tight end. So I
Yeah.
wonder if TCU is going to just be like, let's stack the box. If they can't run the ball, they ain't moving the ball.
Mhm.
And if they can do that early, I mean, you got to force Bennett to make plays at that point, right?
And what worries me some, it's the only thing that really worries me, because we know Bennett is a gunslinger.
Yeah.
But you know how opportunistic this TCU defense can be. So it just worries me. Like Bennett has got to know when to not make the stupid throw. He cannot, if he's under pressure, say if he's just rolling out and he's got to like move to his right or left. Like he needs to know, and he's done a better job at this year. But like when to throw it away, when to try to cram it into a tight spot, and when just
Yeah.
don't throw it at all. Like he cannot get caught, and that's what JJ McCarthy did a couple times on those two pick sixes where he got
Yeah.
baited in. He got baited, and they completely capitalized on it, and they just took it right back to the house. So, like, he's got to know, like, listen, don't get caught in their trap. Like, just find the guy that's open, know where they are, and explore, and just get that. I do think having AD Mitchell back and Arian Smith back is huge, and you saw they scored. They both scored.
Yeah.
I do think. Sorry, I missed my hair.
No, you're good. You're good.
I think if they can get a couple deep shots down early, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Because you're telling TCU, hey, you got to respect the pass here.
Yeah.
You know, and then let's get. I'd like to see Bowers get involved a little bit more. I think he had like 64 yards or so in that first game. Maybe get him involved a little bit more. I know McConkey's still a little banged up, so it's kind of hard there. Darnell's a little banged up. You still have Oscar Delp, who's right behind there. But yeah, I think they can get turnovers. Like if TCU's defense, and they do a pretty good job of it in the Big 12 and just in general, they did it against Michigan. Like if they can get, I think the magic number is at least 2.
Yeah, I was thinking the
Turnovers.
exact same thing too.
Like they have got to get a couple turnovers, have a couple balls bounce their way, like even a couple calls. Like I mean, it's got to be. They've got to create havoc for Stetson Bennett and this offense to get them out of their rhythm. Because I mean, let's be honest, Ohio State didn't really do that. I mean, as bad as Georgia's defense played, Ohio State's defense was atrocious.
Yeah, they
I mean-
couldn't stop them at all. Like in that second
No.
half, Ohio State couldn't stop anything Georgia was throwing at them.
No, like they had that little sprout early in the like midway, like through the third for about 10 minutes or so, and then after that it was nothing. So we'll see. I think that Georgia. I don't know about you, but I think Georgia will have an easier time scoring points. I think than TCU will.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question in the game will be, can TCU's offense
Generate enough points.
can they because I think for TCU to win they got to force it into a shootout.
Yeah.
I think that's
gotta-
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say like yeah, they got to put the ball in their court when it comes to like what you said, shootout. Finish what you were saying.
So I was just saying, like, they got to make it so that they're putting up like 40 points in this game, and Georgia is just not being able to score as quick as them. They got to be able to score quick. They got to be able to score fast. They got to be able to, because I think what they're going to do defensively is I think they're probably going to double Bowers, right? Because I think that makes the most sense logistically. So like if you see, so like they think when they run their defense, they'll probably have the box stacked, but they'll probably have their safeties drop back if they see. If they see him take it in shotgun, they're not going to bait for the run there because I think they know, hey, he's going to try to get off the light pass quick, or he's going to go for because he's a gunslinger. He likes to shoot it long, so they're either going to I think it's going to be very much a whatever the middle linebacker sees at lining up. I think that's how they're going to run it. So I think if they can stop Georgia from scoring quickly and force it into a shootout where TCU has the ball, they have the lead, and Georgia has to play catch up to them.
Like the Ohio State blueprint.
Exactly. But imagine if they didn't they need Sonny Dykes to not shoot himself in the foot in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Don't pull a Ryan Day choke job classic, right? They need to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I feel like this is a Georgia win. Like, this feels like a game that Georgia wins. This feels like a game that Georgia dominates. But at the same time, I like TCU's odds. I don't know what it is. I like the way that they've played, and I think they have a really good chance.
Yeah. Two things here. And I forget the number, but, like, I think the biggest thing, too, and I just completely forgot about it, was if TCU has to get pressure and create an uncomfortable pocket. Because if you leave Stetson Bennett back there alone, if you give him time, he'll do whatever he wants back there.
Yeah.
Like as long as he doesn't try to get cute with it, like, he'll do whatever he wants. Like, that's going to be huge. Like, TCU, if they're going to rush three, they got to be able to, or they're going to be able to mix up their packages, and try to know when or when not to blitz, because Georgia's, I think, allowing like the 7th fewest like pressure rate or something in the country. Like, they do not give up sacks. I think I remember in that game he got sacked. Bennett got sacked like once or twice, but that first time he got sacked was the first time he had been sacked since like October. Like, he does not get sacked. Like, they do a hell of a job up there, like, keeping him upright. TCU just, I think, is ranked like at least is 100 and something as far as like getting pressure on quarterbacks. Like, they just struggle with that. Yeah. And if that's the case, I mean, this might be a long night, because I think if you're looking as Georgia perspective, you want to keep that offense on the sideline. You do not want you keep saying, like, TCU wants to keep this like a shootout. They want to get this rolling. Like, let's get this to a track meet. Yeah. And that's exactly. I would watch like the pregame shows and stuff, and they would say, like, Michigan cannot let this get into a track meet, otherwise they're in trouble. And what happened? They let it get into a track meet. Track meet. Georgia's got to be able to keep them on the sideline, because you do not want it to get to that point where all of a sudden you're playing. I'm going to score a touchdown. You're going to score a touchdown. Like, you're just trading blows at that point, because you do not want to get it to that point. And I do think that is probably one of the biggest things is, like, if you're not going to get pressure on them, you might as well. You're going to be in for a long night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any more thoughts about those sides?
No, I think it's time we tell them what we think. Who's
So,
going to win this game?
I'll let you start. You can give your last little bit of analysis, make your picks, and then we'll switch over to me.
I think this game is going to come down to the fact that Georgia is more talented at every single position on the field. They're the only position in which TCU has a stars advantage over is going to be the quarterback position.
And that's 2 Heisman finalists, though. So
exactly. So at that point, your point is almost mute there.
They cancel each other out.
Exactly. I think, as much as it hurts to say this for TCU's Cinderella story, and it's actually amazing that a team with almost 0 odds, first-year head coach, is all the way at the national championship, I do think Georgia wins this game. I think they only win by a field goal late, but I still think they win this game. And I do feel like, for the most part, it feels like Georgia's winning the game the whole time. Like, the score will look closer than the game really feels.
Like the Tennessee game?
Exactly, yeah. I feel like the score will be a little bit closer than the Tennessee game, just because I respect TCU.
Well, you think it's a field goal?
I think it's a field goal, but I do feel like it's one of those field goals where you know they're going to win this game. Like, TCU ties it late, but they give them way too much time, and Georgia was just rolling the whole time.
Yeah. So you're taking... Are you taking TCU?
I'm taking the Dogs.
Are you taking the Dogs, but are you taking Frogs to cover?
Yeah, I am taking the Frogs to cover. That's a big spread there. That's a big spread in the national championship, man.
13.5. Okay, so we got your side.
Yep.
Take my side. I think this game comes down to limiting the explosive plays and scoring, kind of just controlling when you're on offense, controlling the tone of how the game's going to be played. And if you can keep Bennett upright, and just get a run game going, I mean, this is going to be a long night. So I do think Georgia's going to win. I think that they're able to just kind of do whatever. I think they're going to be able to kind of command this game.
Yeah.
I think 13.5 is a lot. I think that's maybe room for a backdoor cover.
Mm-hmm.
I think Georgia's in control this entire game. I think they weather early storm early. Like this could be, I could see it being like a TCU's up, maybe like 14-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Georgia's like, okay, they get a stop, and then they just kind of go down the field and score, and then that's it. But yeah, I think if Georgia's going to get pressure on Duggan, if they keep him contained, he's going to be in for a long night. Not having Kendre Miller healthy or fully healthy is a big one. Because you can't be predictable on offense, especially against Georgia's defense. You can't start getting into a one-sided game where you're just throwing the ball the entire game, because we saw that's what Tennessee did, and it doesn't work out very well.
Yeah.
I don't care how good your receivers are, and TCU's offense is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Like, they lead the country in touchdowns, or I don't know if it's touchdowns or just 50-plus yard plays.
I think it's 50-plus yard plays because
they're at 20 or something. Mm-hmm. Like, they're well over they're way above anybody else. So we'll see if they're able to do that. I just don't think they're able to have enough possessions to do that. And if they get caught where they have to start punting the ball a couple times, and Georgia scoring, that might be it.
I mean, they could very quickly have nights out for them.
Very quickly.
Within
this
a matter
could be
of plays, yeah.
This could be, I'm not saying this is like the Bama-Kansas State game where close early, nothing after, but there could be a turning moment in this game if if Bennett's able to just not if they're able to turnover free football and TCU's not able to create turnovers, they're in for a long night. They've got to be able to get turnovers. I just don't see them doing it unless, and what have I said all year? Georgia's worst enemy is themselves. They will shoot themselves in the foot constantly. Mm-hmm. But they're talent-wise, able to just back it up enough. And I think doing that in that Ohio State game, being able to withstand backs against the wall, as close to the wall as you can get, that championship mentality really came in. Being down double digits in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes to go in the game against Ohio State, and you're able to come back. I mean, I think that really says something. I think they come ready to go. They don't mess around. They're not going to mess around. I think Michigan messed around with them. Mm-hmm. I think they didn't think they were anything special.
Yeah.
They'll say they won't, but they know they're we didn't really think too highly of them. I think Georgia comes out ready to go. Kirby Smart has them ready to go and caps it off with another win. I think Dogs win. I think the under hits in this game.
Okay.
I like the under in this because I think Georgia's going to be able to score a bunch of points. I think they limit the possessions, for Duggan and company, and they get some stops. It's at 64 now. I might handicap it to maybe get it up a little more.
Yeah.
But that 13.5 too. I mean, I would personally, I like the plus 13.5, but I could also see someone going, they're going to come out and just dominate and go minus 13.5. I think that's too big, especially in a national title game. I think one time, and at any time was a team in any BCS or college football playoff national title game that was a double-digit favorite cover it was Bama, I think, back in whenever they played Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
They were a 10-point favorite. They won by 40. They won 42-10. So
only other one I can think of might be USC Oklahoma. Is that 04? So I think they were at 11-point favorite. They won 56-14, but I think they were 11-point favorite.
Yeah, so it doesn't happen very often.
Never, yeah.
No, so I would stick away from the spread. unless you just are stuck on that. I like the under in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what do you score prediction though? What's your score prediction?
I mean, I've been sitting here thinking about it, and I do
Change
think.
of heart.
No, I still think it's a 3-point game, but I'm gonna go like 24-21. I think it's a
Low
low
scoring.
score. I do think it's a low scoring affair because with the little hindsight to think about it, I think the biggest thing will come down to if Georgia can really hold the game, like you know what I mean, like more or less have the game in their ballpark.
Yeah.
It's a low scoring game. Even
Yeah,
if it's
I
a
mean-
close game, it's a low scoring game.
Georgia will blow teams out, and they won't even have to put that many points on them.
Yeah.
Like because all they'll do is they'll get up big on you, and then they'll start running the football.
Yeah,
in the second
exactly.
half,
Yeah.
if they're able to. I think. I mean,
'Cause
I think it's like a
what happens is I think Georgia goes up big.
yeah.
Let's say in cruise control, TCU does what they've done all season is they fight back into the game, and I think Georgia just gives them the axe with a field goal.
Check that. You know what? I'm taking the over. 42
Ooh.
to 28.
Okay, so you're picking Georgia in the spread too.
Well, I'm not taking the spread. I'll take the Georgia team over though.
Okay.
Team total. I think it's at 38. Take that. I think it's at 4. See, I could say that. I'll say that, and then they won't. It'll be like it'll be like a 27-17 game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of points.
Yeah, the spread. I mean, this is a hard one, man.
It is because you can see it going either it's going to be a super high scoring, it could be a high scoring blowout, a high scoring game competitively, or it just be a low scoring game blowout.
I don't know what to think of TCU at times, man, because every single way you would look at them and go, this team is good for not playing great teams, right?
Yeah.
And they go and they just tell Michigan, like, no, we're just as good as you.
Yeah.
So, I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I think it's 40. I'm going to say 42. Yeah, 42-28. I think Dogs weather the storm early and then just kind of pounce late. I think you know what? I'm going to say this. I think it's a pretty close game throughout. I mean, because 42-28 is not that big of it. I mean, that's just the 14 right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty close late. I think Georgia just kind of starts to pull ahead late, and TCU's just runs out of time and just isn't able to do anything. So I think they maybe turn over Bennett maybe once, but that's it. I mean, just too much Georgia. Just talent again is going to overwhelm them. I think at some point, and Georgia's going to go back to back, and we're going to set to Bennett. And they'll start the construction of the statue
and then
Tuesday morning.
We'll be looking forward to a Florida State statue next season.
No Carson Beck, and the Georgia Bulldogs will be going for their back-to-back-to-back, rolling into the 12-teamers, where they will finish off the 4-peat in Atlanta, and then roll it in as a 5-peat when we go into Miami. So, just saying. Heard it here first.
So the actual fan fiction I just heard out loud.
5-peat. There is the fandom right there.
You're going to make a statue of Bennett and Beck holding it, like, shoulders. Like there was.
Brock Bowers walking off to the sunset. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. We're coming. Here we go. Dogs. We're going. Although, see, I'm still debating that over-under. I don't know.
I mean, it's just like, it's one of those numbers where I'm like, maybe actually they go over, and then I'm like, wait.
As
Neither
bad
of
as
those teams really scored all that much during the regular season. They all both had a lot of close, low-scoring games at times. So I'm like,
last time these two teams met, 2016, Kirby Smart's first bowl win, 31-23 Liberty Bowl. Fun fact also, Georgia's first bowl win as a university came against TCU.
These teams have history.
4-0.
Kind of.
4-0. Well, that's a 0-4.
Oh, you shouldn't be
4-0.
saying that. That's how you jinx it, man.
Nope, I did. That's no jinx. No jinx. That's just facts.
That's all,
Jinxing it.
I feel the same way every time Florida State plays Duke, because we never lost to Duke in like 20 straight times.
Well, no,
Lions
I
beat
think.
Packers.
Did they really?
Yeah, they just did.
That's
They'd already
awesome.
been eliminated too. They just
That's awesome. Seahawks are in, folks.
Yep. Give Dan Campbell a raise.
They wrote him off. He went right back. Geno Smith. Geno Smith is and the Seahawks heading to the 49ers. That's our NFL talk for the day. Yeah. Any final thoughts before we head on out about this game, or just in general? Dylan's birthday today, folks.
Yep,
Let's give him all a round of applause.
thank you, guys. I am the big 2-0, 20 years
Oh.
old. Wow.
Congrats.
Big one. Thank you. I know, one more year, and then I'll be blacked out in Vegas, right?
Nope.
Well, only other college news really to talk about is the Sam Hartman to Notre Dame is official.
Mhm.
That is a move happening this offseason. We'll see how that plays out. I think that could either be a boom or bust,
Yeah.
And it could either be a, wow, Notre Dame finally has a quarterback that can put them over the top, or it's a, man, Marcus Freeman really does not know how to coach quarterbacks. He turned this guy into crap overnight.
It's like an Ian Book thing again.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Trying to think if anything else happened.
The LSU rumors. Again, you want to talk about those or no?
Listen, no, we don't need to talk about that. We need to talk about how they crushed Purdue. 63-7.
You know the funniest thing.
And then they presumably went and started sleeping with the Cheez-Its in the bed.
I gotta say, if those rumors are true and they still put up 60 after,
Relaxing.
I think the craziest part about that is the coaches too, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is
That is a wild story.
we're officially gone Knowles and Dogs after dark at this point.
Yeah, I know, right? No context to what we're talking about, but
No context.
Wow.
Just look it up
Wow.
if you're curious. Pretty much, Keyshawn Butte, star receiver, got involved with something with some of the other coaches after originally saying he was going to play in the bowl game. Such and such event happened. He is now going to the NFL. After being technically, rumors told, and we're not a rumor podcast, but rumors told that the coaches said, hey, we're going to need you, the best way to get out of this is we're going to need you to get out of here and go to the draft. So he's now in the draft. Good luck to him and to his family. Hopefully all works out. Watch the Steelers pick. Just kidding.
I was
good at drafting wide
love
receivers.
doing that. They love drafting wide receivers with character issues.
Okay, whoa. Don't you talk about character issues. Okay, take a deep breath. I'm a Steeler fan. Anybody wants to know? We missed the
But
playoffs.
you guys love to draft wide receivers that are literally.
We're very good at draft.
You guys,
Listen, we don't care what they do off the field. And when they're on the field, they dominate. And we're the best at drafting wide receivers. George Pickens, dog, scored another touchdown today. Have a day.
A tough loss.
8-9.
We got the same record, but
No, you don't. We have a better record than you guys.
we're 8-9.
We're 9-8.
Oh,
Missed
yeah,
playoffs, 9-8.
yeah.
9-8.
Yeah,
Missed
we're
playoffs.
8-9. We got a home playoff game next week.
Oh, congrats on. Nice.
I should go. I should go actually.
Nice. All right, Dylan, first hand, boots down at Raymond James.
Oh yeah, I'll give you live on air coverage when we beat
Yes.
Dallas.
Well, they play like crap today, so maybe.
I would say we beat them already this season, so you never know.
All right, before we get too much off topic, any final thoughts before we go? Again, I think I just said that, but any more final thoughts?
No, I think we got everything covered. I wanted to say, if everything goes to plan, good luck to your dogs. They'll probably win, but Knowles are coming for it next season.
We'll see. Florida State should be good. Let's see how they do.
Other big college news. I mean, Jared Verse is coming back.
There you go.
You know, top 15 projected pick decides to come back for another year of college football. It's pretty good by Norvell or the Boosters. I don't know which one it was, but you know, I like to believe it was Norvell.
There we go.
Helps me sleep better.
Excuse me.
With the burp, yeah. I mean,
Excuse me. That was a hiccup. This is a good time to end the show here.
right?
Dogs on top, hunker down, sick 'em. Let's get another natty. Natty time. All right, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. like the video, view it, do whatever you want. Just
Yep.
make sure you do those 3 things. We'll be back after maybe whenever next week or later sometime this week to recap the game and figure out what we're going to do after that. So
Yeah, we want to hear feedback from you guys. Is there anything specific you want us to talk about? Off-season coverage, maybe a different NFL, XFL, USFL, all that stuff is coming up too. If you guys want us to cover a little bit of that, just let us know. I think we both would be interested in maybe doing that.
for sure. Yeah, so with all that being said, guys, enjoy the Natty like we will, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Dogs.
Go Knowles.
Oh, all right. See you guys.
See ya.